Hello, welcome to Moist Nougat. I am the kid.
And I'm DanLee.
And DanLee is calling in. I had him call in tonight for the
Yeah.
podcast. You know, it's today is actually 1 month since you guys left to go back to Florida.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you guys left on the 27th of December and it's the 27th of January. But I'm going to
Oh
be
my
honest with you,
God.
it feels like it's 3-4 months.
It does.
It does not
I,
seem like just a month.
no, that's what I was going to say. It seemed like we left there so long ago.
And I
So,
was I was going to ask. Mom said you were making a bonsai trip up here to get the stuff out of the store. I guess you decided to ixnay that?
well, um, I think I thought I heard that there was some bad weather coming through north of where we are in Florida.
Yeah.
So I felt like I didn't really want to get caught up in that stuff. So I guess I'll try. I'll try for next weekend. This coming weekend and get up there and just come up with an empty car and just jam it full of everything I can. And hopefully, if there's anything John can hold in his garage, I'll ask. I'll ask if he would be willing.
Well, now wait a minute. Mom said that you knew that you could fit it all in the car.
There's a bicycle in there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my bicycle. And the thing really needs to go to a bike mechanic. It didn't get any love in North Carolina.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought about, it was it's a nice bike. I like it, and I'd like to be able to keep it, but
Yeah, it's a
we'll
little
see.
a little flatter where you're at, so you might be able to ride it more, not as many hills.
Oh yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. So I'm hoping he
Just,
doesn't mind. I'll have to get a hold of him.
just in case anybody's wondering if they start hearing these weird bells and sounds and stuff, Mom's playing her goddamn games.
You're actually picking that up?
Yeah, I can hear her, but it's not like overpowering or loud or anything. I don't care. Tell her not to stop. She can play her game all she wants.
Yeah.
This is kind of a wing at night. It's been a weird week. Didn't
Oh
get
yeah.
didn't get a lot done. Everything,
Uh-huh.
it's been rainy, and you know how it is when it's rainy up here in the winter, and it's hard to get
Uh,
motivated, and
oh yeah.
uh, like I had the whole does it suck plan. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go through the KFC drive through and
Uh-huh.
film it all in the car and just to do something different. I'm gonna try some of these weird wraps that they have. They have like it's like a chicken finger wrap with like macaroni and cheese in it, and they have like four or
Like,
five different flavors. Right?
really?
Doesn't sound like super appealing, but I'm like something different. Try it.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently the two KFCs in Gastonia they don't carry those.
What?
Yeah, so threw my
Oh my
whole
gosh.
threw my whole does it suck plan out the window when I was getting ready to go, and I was like, I just want to make sure that they have them.
That's crazy. So you're a KFC location matters. I figured you'd
Well, I
want to
mean, they
have
do
it
that with
every.
fast food. They do that with fast food all the time. They'll put it in a select market,
Okay.
like Arby's. I think Arby's is making like a burger now,
Really?
but
Wow.
they tested it in certain markets, and
Yeah.
so it wasn't available at every Arby's that you went to. But so yeah, so I made a trip to Aldi and went in and grabbed a bunch of crap and I mean I can't
Oh,
talk about what I did what I tried
yeah.
today. You'll have to wait till Monday to see the video. But um,
Oh man, I've got some catching up to do. It's been it's been a just every day has been just jam packed with go go go. And my go 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 basically got up and went. I mean, I'm trying to keep up.
yeah,
I mean, I'm holding my own. It's just that it's it's interesting. I know what I was in for when I took this job, and it's fine. I don't want to make it sound like it's impossible. It's just it taxes my abilities.
well I thought you were just doing maintenance, lawn maintenance and stuff.
Yeah, Yeah,
So what are you
it's
into now? Plumbing and electrical work?
oh, it's just because there's the biggest variable is when I started here last August. It in Florida in August, hardly anybody here. You've got you've got campers coming and going, and that's all well and good. But here we've got like two leaving one day, three coming in the
So
next,
you're just
and
having to clean up sites and get sites ready for more people to come in and
yeah, you just got to move. You just got to keep on moving. And so, and then other oddball things happen, and so you got to react, and you got to keep moving all the time. And what complicates things is we had Idalia during last was it September, I think.
yeah,
Idalia, the
somewhere
hurricane
around
came,
there.
and so we weren't that far from the eye of the storm, and this place took a real hit. It was completely underwater, seawater, and that just so messes with things. And it doesn't. None of that shows up right away. In some few instances, it will, but it takes time after all the seawater goes off, gets in the ground, and wherever it goes, moves on out of here. And it takes a while for the corrosion to start. And then when the corrosion starts happening, it doesn't all happen at the same time.
Right, but
So
but you shouldn't have to worry about like the electrical and stuff. You're not certified to do that.
no, no, we've had crews that are coming in and isolating certain areas. They don't want to shut down everything, so they isolate certain areas and try to get it done in a they come in the morning and try by the end of a work day. Hopefully, they're leaving with the power restored in that particular area. So it's complicated and it's annoying and it's just but it's unfortunate that that's what happens. You're living on the coast, uh, you know, you got to get used to this kind of stuff. Even a bad rain here will flood certain areas of the town.
Yeah, that's all it's been
Yeah,
doing here this week is raining.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, not like heavy, like I mean, it poured a little while ago, but it's more of just a sprinkle, and then it's not doing anything. Then it rains, and then it's down to a sprinkle, and it's been that way
yeah,
half the week this week.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. I know you guys probably got hammered by some rain a while back because it came through here. It was a storm coming across from California. It made its way all the way across the country, and
Yeah,
it
we
really
got we
walloped
got a
up.
bunch of rain, but we didn't get as much as because it kind of went. I mean, certain parts of North Carolina, I'm pretty sure got hammered, but
Yeah.
we
Huh.
I mean, we got a bunch of rain, but uh,
Hmm.
I don't think we got like the 3 or 4 inches they were thinking we might get. I think that was kind of north of us.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
So, all right. But yeah, just a big rain event here will actually do some flooding. It's a shame, but I mean the Gulf of Mexico is 3 miles down the road,
right, right.
so yeah, when it pushes in here, it pushes in pretty hard. Anyhow, well, that is your weather report for the last 6 months.
Yep. Florida might rain, might not.
Yeah,
That's pretty
Mike
much
flood.
everywhere now, though.
Yeah,
I mean, the weather reports are so far off most of the time now, which I could never understand because the technology is so much better.
yeah,
I mean, it used to be when I was a kid. I remember seeing the weather would be on TV or something, and they'd be like, "Ah, it's gonna rain Wednesday," and it damn near every time would rain when they said it was gonna rain.
hmm,
Now they'll
yeah,
say, "Oh, it's gonna be rainy all day," and you go outside and it's not a cloud in the sky.
yeah. That's crazy.
And then the next day it rains and it's supposed to be sunny the next day. And
Yeah, we've got all these sophisticated satellites. They should be giving us good information.
I think it's kind of like cars. It's too much technology. There's more things to go wrong and break. And
God,
um,
cars are scary. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
It's amazing to think what they were years ago. Even that short distance back when you were learning to drive. I mean, my God, they're so complicated now, and there's just so
well,
much that can go wrong. It's sick.
complicated, and they're made out of plastic now.
Oh
Speaking of
yeah.
cars, I mean, I got an email like one day last week from our car insurance company. We have renters insurance through them as well, and
Okay.
it went up last year. It went up like $13, almost $14. Then it went up another dollar and change a couple months later.
Uh-huh.
This year, I get an email. It says starting basically almost in a week, your monthly payments going up almost $34.
Wow.
And I was like, that puts us at almost $2,000 a year for car insurance. And I'm
Right.
like, bullshit.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
crazy.
I know insurance, so I called them first.
Uh-huh.
And the guy that I talked to, super nice guy, but he said, well, it has something to do with North Carolina and they take the average, and I'm like, so typical of an insurance company, because everybody else sucks at driving, you're going to raise my fucking rate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I got a bunch of quotes and pulled the plug on that insurance company.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Um,
That's all you can do.
yeah, it still feel like it's too much, but we're still carrying full coverage on our cars, even though they're paid for. It's like, as soon as I drop full coverage, something's going to happen, you
Yeah.
know. And it's like, until I absolutely can't afford to carry
Mm-hmm.
that type of insurance on because I mean,
Right.
I could just basically, get liability on both the cars, and we'd be paying, hardly anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, as soon as I do that,
Right.
then something happens. But yeah, I
That's
just
the
thought
way.
it was a little ridiculous.
Yeah, karma works that way sometimes.
Uh, but we were I was with Nationwide for, I mean, pretty much since I started driving,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I stayed with Nationwide because their rates were reasonable, and we moved to Texas, and they wanted like $3,500 a year
Wow.
in Texas because of how Texas laws work,
No
and
kidding.
so we ended up going through Kyle's work. And we ended up
Yeah.
with traveler's insurance because that was the cheapest rate we could get.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
now, travelers, we moved, and then of course when we moved from back to North Carolina from Texas, that rate dropped even lower because North Carolina was cheaper. Um, but
Yeah.
it's creeped up, and
Well,
really, I mean, they wanted my monthly payment for car insurance would have been $166 a month.
yikes.
That's ridiculous. Never made a claim ever. No
Yeah.
tickets, no accidents,
Uh-huh.
nothing. Clean,
Really.
yeah, just
Well,
ridiculous.
I wonder, you were in Brazoria, so you were really close to the Gulf. And then storms, of course, are always a concern.
Yeah, but I don't think that really had a whole lot to do with the rate. It's because it's like a no fault state like Florida is.
Uh-huh.
I think that affects the car insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, as it is, it's- there's a turnover in Florida. You've got a lot of elderly drivers, and I got a quick story about one.
There's not
But
elderly drivers in Florida, is there?
there's a few. I'm one of them. But I think I still drive the same. I'd like to think that I still drive the same, when I was 20. But
I don't
yeah,
know,
I mean,
Mom. Does he drive the same?
Kim, do you think I drive the same as when I was younger?
Yeah.
That was a That was a good yes. I'll take
You
that.
just have more road rage now.
Road rage. No, no, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I forget where I'm going. So that makes life even more interesting.
Yeah.
So,
How could you
but
forget where you're going? There's only like 500 people in that town.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's when it really shows up in conversation when I want to remember something and give you all the details, and it's like, oh crap, I get I get halfway through a sentence and I'm like, oh crap, I can't think of the name of the place.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get a turnover in with the storms that hit here. There's just a turnover in the insurance companies. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. As soon as you make a claim, like you could be with an insurance company for 20 years,
Right.
and they keep they say when you turn this and you turn that, my rates have never dropped regardless of what age I've turned,
Yeah.
whether or not I
Yeah.
was married, or it's just bullshit. That is a myth.
Right.
That is a, what
Right.
do they call the urban legend,
Could be
probably started by an insurance salesman.
because I mean, honestly, statistics are always kept. So I'm sure there's somewhere you could go to look it up because I don't care what. There's there are people keeping statistics of everything, and they have for ages.
Oh yeah.
Because if they're going to reflect back on what happened 20 years ago, they want proper numbers. They want to know exactly what was going on, where and when, and all of that. So,
Well, here's the worst part of having to like shop insurance, whether it's car insurance or whatever,
right.
homeowners, renters. Once you reach out, like, because I was trying to do it like online, so I didn't have to like talk to bother an agent or anything. I was just like, I'll get a ballpark, and then if they're reasonable, then I'll actually call somebody and talk to them. I was online. I can't remember who it was with. I barely was off the website, got a text, then like a minute later they called me,
No kidding.
and I'm like, holy shit. That's the worst part is they're like car salesmen.
Ready to pounce.
I had they called the other night. One of them called the other night at 8:30.
Uh-huh. Really?
8:30 at night. I didn't answer. Then
Wow.
they called me the next day, and I
Yeah.
was like, I already went with somebody else.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, why don't they play the odds? I'm not going to call between 5 and 6:30 because that's generally just by chance that's generally when a lot of people are eating. And then
well, yeah.
got to catch I got to catch them in that 7 to 7:30 time frame because that's before, sports comes on and other things. And it's like cuz there's a small window. If they're going to call, they should work with that small
How
window.
about this? Don't
Yeah.
call me, I'll call you. When I'm ready to pull the
Yeah.
trigger or I need more information, I'll call you.
Right. I'll search you out.
I'm not sitting down with my computer in front of me or my current policy in front of me so I can, because that was the thing. I wanted to match it 100% perfectly,
Yeah.
all the
Right.
coverage, exactly identical coverage, because I wanted to see what this company charged as opposed to Travelers.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted the exact same coverage because, yeah, you
Yeah.
can come back with a better rate, but it's like I did call Nationwide, and I don't want to go on and on about car insurance, but I did call
Yeah.
Nationwide, and they gave me a quote which was about the same. We went with State Farm, throwing them all out there: Allstate, State Farm, Travelers, Nationwide, Geico.
Mm.
I checked into Geico, but Geico wasn't much cheaper than some of the other ones,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let me get the coverage exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, screw them. Uh,
Yeah.
but I forget where I was going with it. But no, I called Nationwide, and they gave me a quote. But then she said, "This isn't actually Nationwide insurance. This is like they must own a smaller insurance company or something."
Really?
And because Nationwide didn't come back with anything comparable in price. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'm on the phone with a Nationwide insurance agent, and you're telling me that you can insure me, but it's not going to be Nationwide.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, okay, so I'm not doing Nationwide. And they were right
Hmm.
around the same price as State Farm, but it wasn't Nationwide. It was some company I've never heard of.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah, I know.
and it's like
Well,
I can't remember which one. One of them, like Allstate or something, is publicly owned. Why is an insurance company publicly owned?
mm-hmm.
And why do they buy out? There's a something General. It's not the General like the commercial, the cartoon guy, the General.
Right.
There's some other with General in it, and I think Allstate owns them. They bought them out. But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't you just then why do you keep it as a separate insurance company? Why doesn't it just fall into like it's now Allstate?
Mm.
Because I know my sister-in-law got insurance through this. I think she probably called Allstate,
Yeah.
and they gave her a rate that was reasonable, but it wasn't Allstate. It was this other one, and I'm like, okay, so you're
Mm-hmm.
not getting like you're talking to Allstate, but it's not Allstate insurance. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But the whole insurance thing is just a racket, anyways. That's why I don't want to go
Yeah.
on and on about it too long.
Yeah.
Um,
They could be using that other company that they just took over. Um, they can kind of I don't know what's the
well, that's
best
how
way to.
I mean, they're getting the money either way. So it's like they're
Yeah.
not getting the Allstate coverage, but we can give them this coverage and still get their money, and they can afford that. So
Right.
you know, um,
Yeah.
I'm my YouTube channel's up to 22 subscribers now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, imagine that.
It-
I figured it out. It's been almost 4 years since I put my first video on YouTube. So that's 5.5 subscribers a year.
All right.
So in 10
I wouldn't
years,
want.
I'll have 77 subscribers. I'm
Excellent, man.
fucking
That
killing it.
you are definitely.
Um,
Yeah, and I feel that kind of success. I can honestly say I had a little bit to do with it.
I mean, I'm literally only like 115 years away from maybe making $1 off YouTube.
Well, we can only hope. We can only hope.
But
Yeah.
I don't know who the subscribers are.
Mm.
So you
That
can't
doesn't
thank them. But thank you.
matter.
I've actually
But
gotten 2 in like the last couple of months. One just
yeah,
since like yesterday or today. I noticed it was like, wow, it went from 21 to 22.
excellent.
So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, definitely.
But forget what I was gonna say.
Uh,
But
well,
yeah,
I'm,
if
I'm
you don't have a YouTube channel, you
mhm.
can follow people, but you don't show up. You show up as a number, but you don't like the people that have their own channels that subscribe to me. I can see who they are. I can
Right,
see
right.
who them are.
Who them are? Yeah, that's proper English.
I dropped my mic and mic stand and everything else off the table earlier today.
No, really.
Yeah, it didn't
Oh,
hurt anything, fortunately.
well, that's good.
I mean, these
That's,
mics are pretty hard to kill. I don't know. I might go to edit this like tomorrow or the next day or whatever, and like my mic didn't I can hear myself, but
yeah.
it just wasn't there. It wasn't. So it's just going to be you having a conversation with nobody. But yeah, because I'm using the like when you were here and I'm using the tabletop thing now instead
Yeah.
of the springy articulating ones.
Right, right.
But I was getting ready to do the does it suck, and I was like, oh, I'll just swing the arm over, and I swung it over, and I was like thinking that it was mounted to the table, and the whole thing
Oh,
just dropped off the table because the weight balance.
oh yeah.
You got to have the mic out
Sure.
in front of the weight, and I turned it all the way to the side, and it just fell right off.
I saw the weight was in one area, and over she goes.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it
Yeah.
didn't look like anything bent or anything. So,
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter when you're dropping microphones. That's like, oh shoot.
yeah. Well, hopefully these SM48s are tough like the 58s are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know
Yeah.
what hit the ground because I couldn't see it. I couldn't see what hit first, so the microphone might not even hardly hit the ground.
Yeah.
I was more worried about the shock mount and the microphone than the stand, because I'm like, the stand's
Yeah.
pretty beefy. It's probably nothing going to happen to the stand.
Right. I never had for all the years I used Shure mics. I never had any trouble with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm
I
happy
bet.
with these mics. I mean, they sound. I mean, I know oh shit, it's
You're sounding like me now. Can't
a
think of it.
condenser mic. I know that
Oh,
they're so much brighter and sharper and sound
yeah,
really good, but they also don't necessarily sound good in a big untreated room.
yeah,
You're going to pick up, the refrigerator going off, running over here, and the fan on the computer, and
right.
so it's just, and they're, like $200, $300, $400,
Oh yeah,
whereas these SM48s are like $30 now, 25, $30 you can get them for.
yeah. That and they're good. They're a good mic. I mean, the human ear can't hear anything wrong with them. I mean, you're hearing the entire band that is available to the human ear. So yeah, they're
Yeah,
good.
yeah. And this
I,
one, I've had this is the first one I bought, the one that I use. I've had this, and I paid like $50 for this one when they first came out. They were like $50, but hell, you can get them now for, like I said, like 25, $30.
yeah, that's awesome. I used Shure, and then I bought those two Audio Technica mics. I wanted those to pick up my cymbals.
Yeah,
And, and the Shures were all good for the drums, even the bass drum. I mean, I never had a problem with sound. I didn't need, I didn't need any expensive electro voice or whatever. Um, so, but the higher frequencies, those condenser electric condenser mics were good for that.
yeah. I mean, and I think somebody's making one that's only around $100, which isn't bad for like a podcast condenser mic. And a
Hmm.
lot of people are
Yeah,
buying them because that's what everybody uses on YouTube when you watch a video, and they've all got
yeah,
the condenser mic. It's obviously a different shape, and yeah, they I get it. Everybody wants to look cool, and
right.
but
What's
man,
that's Sure that you see everybody using? What I mean, Sure puts nicknames on all their mics. What's the name on that thing?
I mean, it might be like, I think it's like an AK7 or something
Uh
weird,
huh.
because I saw one on Facebook Marketplace somebody was trying to get rid of. It was still in the box. It said free, but then it said they wanted $200 for it. So
Oh, yeah, right.
but it might be Sure, or somebody's making one that's a lot cheaper. Now
Uh huh.
it's probably not as hefty and all that,
Right.
um, but I'm not that's the last thing I'm looking to buy right now, because have no problem with these mics, you know.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, you could hold this mic in your hand if you didn't want a microphone stand, or if you fiddle with it too much, you're gonna pick up some noise. But
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
we're looking into camera lenses and things like that.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. There's a lot. Audio and visual. They go together.
Well, I'm kind of wanting the that 10 to 18 that we joked about at Christmas.
Yeah.
Uh, because it's like $330.
Mm-hmm.
And they make a 16, but that's $300, and it's like, I don't know, that's kind of a no brainer unless you just really want a 16 millimeter lens.
Yeah,
But
that's
why not
interesting.
get one that you can go from 10 to 18?
Right.
I
Yeah,
just,
usually it's like another probably like 60 or $70 on
yeah.
top of interesting.
And I watched a bunch of video. I watched some videos on it and got some good reviews for a budget lens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because camera lenses. You want
Mm-hmm.
top of the line camera lens. I mean, you can spend thousands.
Oh God. Yeah.
So a $300 lens is actually kind of reasonable.
It is. Yeah, that's not bad at all. It
Now
sounds scary.
there's some aftermarket lenses now that you can get for the camera for that R10 that I have.
Uh-huh.
And some of them are wide angle lenses, but they're fisheye lens, and that's what the Q8 is a fisheye.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, I don't want to buy a fisheye lens because I have a video camera with a fisheye lens, and that's what the GoPros are basically, are fisheye lens. And so you
Okay.
get a super wide angle, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm looking at that 10 to 18. I've actually almost got this camera paid off.
Great.
I have one more payment to make.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing is nice.
So less than a year,
Excellent. Good
and
deal.
yeah, I'm happy with it. Well, so you guys can't really watch TV or anything, but can
Right.
you get YouTube on your phones or anything? Well, you can on yours because I
Right.
don't think
Mine's just
YouTube. I don't think you can pick it up through smoke signals. But mom
Yeah.
could get it on her phone. I don't know. It's like, I wish I could walk you through it. I don't know. I feel like there's something not right, and you probably can get the stuff, especially if you get Netflix once in a while. But we won't get all into that. That's for another call.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that her computer gets it, but I
yeah, that's what I was like. I'm like, there's just something. There's like something needs to be updated or whatever on your Chromecast or something's not set up right on it. But
I
like I
found
said, we'll go
yeah,
ahead.
I found the Chromecast box yesterday that the device came in. The little handheld thing.
Yeah.
There was no book in it. I opened it up. I was like, "Oh, good. I'm gonna get the book out and look at this." And no, nothing.
No, I don't think
But
hardly anything comes with manuals anymore. You can get them
yeah.
online or Google or YouTube. What you need to figure
Hmm.
out.
Okay. Oh,
We'll get you set up, or at least try, anyways.
sure.
But we won't do it on the podcast.
No, no.
Um, I want to touch base on football. The Packers lost last weekend. Kind of sucks. And, man, they almost pulled it out. They almost beat the 49ers in San Francisco.
Wow.
Uh, I don't know how the Packers have done it, but they went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. Jordan Love looks like he's going to be a hell of a quarterback.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the kid's got an arm, and he knows the game. And, yeah, he threw a pick at the end of the game, but it was crunch time, and it was make a play or lose. And that's what happens. But,
Right, right.
uh, but man, like the Broncos haven't been able to find the guy that's the right quarterback in all these years, and the Packers, you're looking at 3 generational quarterbacks possibly.
Right.
Like, how the
Right.
hell does that happen?
Yeah. Really.
It doesn't. It never has. I mean, to go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers is huge. But
Yeah.
then to have another guy after Aaron Rodgers come in, and he started out a little shaky at the beginning of the season, but man, he really turned it up.
Yeah.
He was actually one of the top passers by the end of the season.
Wow. How
And
old is he?
well, I mean, he sat on the bench for a few years, just like Aaron Rodgers did behind
Okay.
Favre, and then Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers.
Uh-huh.
It might be a recipe for quarterbacks. Don't bring them straight out of college, throw them in, and think they're gonna
Right.
set the world on fire.
Yeah. Exactly. That's rare.
But I wanted to ask you, did your multi tool fit in that little holster thing that I got you?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. I really like that thing.
Cool.
I bought a flashlight that fits in it.
Yeah, you showed me the flat. You bought that before you went back to Florida.
Right. Right. Yeah. I charge it on the computer. I can just plug it into one of the ports and charges up.
Yeah,
So
I'm
the only
glad.
thing to do is when you plug it in, that little red light comes on, but there isn't a little green light letting you know it's fully charged. So I just
Does the red light blink?
no, it just stays on. It's just letting you know that it's plugged in.
Oh, okay, that's weird. Usually it'll blink
Mm.
while it's charging and then be solid, or vice versa, or like you said, a green light or something will tell
Right.
you that it's fully charged.
But I plug it in. I just walk away from it. I leave it in for a long time, and so but I can put a charge on it over the weekend, and then it's good for the week.
Yeah, it's like that clock you guys got me for my birthday.
Hmm.
That the one that's I don't even know if you know. You might not even know because I know Mom's the one that buys it. But it's just got a bunch of letters, and like right now it says it is 10 minutes past 7.
Oh, so it's a big square,
Yeah.
and it's covered up with letters, and then it'll spell out. Is it random? Does it like run through different things?
I mean it switches but it only goes on fives. So it'll be
Oh,
10 minutes past 7 until it's 15 minutes past 7. So it might be 14 minutes past 7, but this thing won't click over until it's 15.
I see.
But I put it on the wall behind me at the desk, and it
Yeah.
takes like 3 AA batteries,
Uh-huh.
and it lasted for like a week and a half, and it started getting a little bit dimmer and dimmer, but it was still keeping time.
Oh,
And then I
yeah.
came down here, and it was just, it was super dim, and I'm like, yeah, it ate through the battery, so it didn't make it quite 2 weeks. And I'm like, I have all these rechargeables, so I'm gonna try those.
Yeah, that's good.
And I put the rechargeables in it, and I think like 3 days later, it was completely out.
Oh, yeah.
And I
I
was
see.
like, all right, well, this thing needs to be plugged into a USB. So I actually
Right.
set it on top of my computer and plugged
Uh-huh.
it directly into the computer, and it's bright and
Yeah. Okay.
it's cool because I can see it when I'm sitting here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it eats batteries, but I figured it would because it's lights. It's all these little lights.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's neat, but it definitely needs to be plugged in. You can buy like a wall thing for it, but I'm like, it might be a little overkill.
Yeah.
I'll just plug it into the computer.
Mm. Right, right. Sure, why not?
Um, the Rolex is on right now.
Is it really?
It's that time of year already.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah, Peacock's carrying it. I guess the whole shit and shebang.
Yeah.
I've got it on
So,
the computer
uh,
over there, but I haven't really
yeah,
been paying attention to it.
so there's people in the stands over at Daytona.
Yep, that time of
Okay.
year already. Yep, see that
Yeah.
clock just changed. It is 15 minutes past 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought that was neat. I was in Shannon's house before we left, and there was one on in there.
Yeah,
One of those clocks. It's probably. I think it might be Parker's. I'm not sure.
yeah,
But anyhow, I saw it. It makes you. It's like, oh, what's the clock saying? I could see like three or four different lines lit up. Like, okay, is
yeah,
there a mess?
yeah. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, yeah. I like that idea. It was a smart idea.
Uh, this is the Timekeepers podcast.
Keeper's podcast.
Well,
You know,
let's go ahead. Sorry.
I wanted to touch on something. It was just crazy. I had to tell you this. We were talking about older drivers in Florida,
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I interrupted you. And you never got back to your story.
and it just happened the other day. It happened like 3 days ago. So you come off of Highway 19 that runs north and south in Florida, and you get off at the Inglis exit, and then you go through Inglis on County Road 40, and then that puts you into Yankeetown.
Do you have
So
a
you start.
lisp, or is that how it's spelled?
Oh, Inglis?
just
No,
picking at you.
it sounds like it, doesn't
I don't speak
it?
English.
But I guess I have a lift. So um, you go down, you just go south, and on 40, County Road 40, off of 19, and it takes you right towards the Gulf. And so this old fellow and his wife came down 40, and eventually they're out at the park down here where the boat launch is. And this guy never lifted.
Are you
He just
kidding me? I
he
was
just
afraid that's where it was going.
oh yeah. And Idalia, the storm, you know, in October or last August, September, whenever Idalia came through here, it left a ripple effect in the asphalt down there. When they haven't done anything to quite hammer it out or redo it.
Yeah, so he was like going over a bunch of berms.
He was going over that, and then there's an actual speed bump. He went over that, went down the ramp, and drove out into the Gulf of Mexico.
Holy shit!
So what did they do? I mean, and he was at speed. So when this truck of his, it's a brand new truck, it's a brand new Chevy Denali, and when it hit the water, it was moving, and it had power enough to float out a ways. And of course, they called the cops, and the sheriffs came here. Two sheriff cars came, and one of the sheriffs got right down and in the water and was swimming out to it. And they had gotten out of it, and they were doing their best to swim in. And literally, I mean, they had an opportunity. They were already in the drink swimming.
Yeah.
They were literally about 20 feet to the ramp. And people were like, yeah, come on, come on. And they're like, oh no, we're getting tired. We're getting tired. We better go back to the truck. And it was like, what?
Seriously?
They turned, I mean, they were already like this huge distance from the truck. They only had like 20 feet to go.
Did they not realize the truck was going to get washed out and sink?
Oh, and yeah, and the sheriff was really on the move then. He's like, oh no. He went and rounded him. He swam out to him as fast as he could and rounded him up and brought him back in. They literally
Jesus.
turned around and were going to head back to their truck.
They're lucky they survived.
I was amazed that the truck even floated for that long. Oh yeah, they're really lucky they survived. But it's just amazing to think that that's how their minds work. We're almost to where we got to go, but
Well,
we're
how
too.
much further? I mean, were they halfway, or I mean, was the truck
Oh,
further away?
they were more than halfway. I mean they had covered the distance. They
Uh,
were all there, and then they did the strangest of things. So and they're both in their 80s.
That's crazy. They're lucky they survived.
Oh yeah, they really are. They
That's
really are.
nuts.
Of course, the truck won't.
No, no.
That took the big bath. And when they get submerged like that, you can pull them out of the water. Don't try and start it until you go to start it. It's going to suck all that fluid that's in the exhaust pipe, all that seawater right up
Well,
into
that's the
the end.
problem. All that seawater. I mean, any water, but seawater,
Yeah.
it's just
Oh,
gonna eat everything away eventually.
oh yeah, that thing is toast.
I mean, you do that to a vehicle, and that's like 40 fucking salt winters in upstate New York. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
God,
That was so bizarre. Their actions.
yeah, that is crazy.
Man, oh man.
Speaking of old, I mean, we're all getting the aches and pains and stuff. Dar has to have her other hip replaced.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, she found out a couple weeks ago. Had been bothering her pretty bad. Actually, she has a fracture in the hip,
Oh gosh.
and
A
they were
stress
like, "You
stress.
can't fuck around with this," because
Yeah. Right.
she did go see a specialist, and because they're going on a cruise in March,
Oh, no kidding.
and she's like, "Fuck, what am I? I'm not going to be able to go on the cruise." And the
Wow.
specialist told her that you can go, you can wait till after the cruise, but just be careful. Like don't be bungee jumping or
Yeah, yeah, really.
that kind of stuff. So,
Ride, riding dirt bikes, taking
but
jump.
she was just mortified when she found that out. It was
I'll,
just
I'll bet.
yeah, because essentially her other hip. I mean, they had to do it twice because it popped out of place, and they had to go back in and redo it.
Oh, wow.
So,
How
and
awful.
now she's got to have the other one done. So, yeah, yeah,
Man, oh man.
sucks getting old. That's why I worry
Again,
about my hips, but I don't think mine's bursitis or it could be arthritis. I don't know. And if it's
yeah.
arthritis, I mean that sucks because it's not going to ever get any better.
Right,
If
right.
anything, it's just going to get worse. Um,
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
bursitis, I mean I trying to figure out how to clear bursitis up. Basically they just say, well, it just has to work its way out and just take Advil and shit
Right,
for the pain. But
right, right.
yeah, getting old sucks, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, this darn disease that I got, this Charcot-Marie tooth disease, CMT. Uh, it's just the older I get, man. When I get the cramps from it, oh my God, my legs are just killing me. The
Yeah,
episodes, the episodes are so painful. But anyways, I mean, they go away though. It's not like, I'm living with this tremendous pain all
no, but
the
cramps suck. I mean, I don't get them a lot, but
time.
they come in waves with me,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
man, they suck because it feels like there's nothing you can do.
yeah. Just that stuff that I put on. Uh, it, you know,
TheraWorks.
the TheraWorks, yeah, the TheraWorks for cramps. It takes 6 minutes to get through your skin into the muscle, and then what's really weird is when it starts to because it's magnesium sulfate that makes your muscles relax. When it starts to work on the muscle will like all of a sudden relax, and you're like, oh, finally it went away. And then it comes right back again, and then it
Yeah,
relaxes, and it comes. So you're kind of going through this extra bit of pain that's like in waves now.
yeah,
But my old before the TheraWorks, man, 15 minutes of agony, and now it's like 6. So a lot better with the right stuff.
yeah, absolutely.
Aches and pains, man. I hate it. Oh
Yeah,
well.
nothing you can do about it either.
No, not really. Not really.
Just get
So
pissed like I do. Get
yeah,
mad.
Oh yeah.
I showed my ass at a Firehouse Sub the other day.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
You were getting.
Went and got put an online order in,
Uh-huh.
and it was like it was 6:45 or whatever time I get there.
Uh,
I literally stood there for 20 fucking minutes.
Yikes. They still hadn't made it.
Still hadn't made it, and then when they finally put, like, I had ordered 2 brownies too,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I asked the guy, like, are the brownies in there? And he basically ignored me, and so I opened the bag, and the brownies weren't in there. And I was like, there's supposed to be 2 brownies. He's like, oh yeah, they're down there. You'll see them. And so I
Really?
walked down there, and I went, are you fucking kidding me?
How come? There weren't any there?
No, the brownies were there, and I grabbed 2 brownies. But I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This was supposed to be a pickup order. So if I walked in here and I just grabbed my bag and walked out, then all my food wasn't there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was bitching the whole way out. And I said, this is the
Right.
last fucking time I come here. I
Yeah.
said, I've been here twice, and this is the same time. I stood there 20 minutes waiting for my food.
Yeah.
But it's like that everywhere here. I don't know if it's that way everywhere now, but like this town, there's something about this town and restaurants and retail stores that they just have not figured it out.
Right. Yeah, that's where you really want to show you that you've got your stuff together.
Well, and the worst part of it is the subs. We actually both got the exact same sub, Kyle and I, and the meat was like here's a chunk of roast beef, and then here's a chunk of turkey. And like they didn't even put the sandwich together properly.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it is I get an email the other day, like today at some point, asking me to take a survey on how my visit was. It was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you want me to spend more time? I stood there for 20 minutes. How about sending me the survey while I'm standing there so I have something to do?
Yeah, really.
You know what I mean? Like, like, I get it. It's like they're busy or whatever. And this is funny because like last week, the whole podcast last week was I ranted about shit, and I was like, what's new from every other week, because I always rant about shit. And here I am again this week ranting about something else. But I'm like, why does your app tell me that I can pick up my food at 6:45 if you guys are so backed up that it's going to be like 7:15?
Sure.
Like, I'll just leave the house later, but I drove all the way down here, and now I'm just standing here.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And it's just frustrating.
That's a shame.
And like I said, the kid just, calls out my name, and I'm like asking him about my brownies, and he doesn't even acknowledge me. So I open the bag, and there's no brownies in there. And oh, they're down there. You'll see. And I'm like, I felt like going, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
I ordered this online. It's supposed to be sitting on this fucking rack right here, you dipshit. And I'm supposed to walk in the door, look and see my name, and grab the bag and leave. I'm not supposed to pull my own fucking order.
Yeah.
Now I wish you would allowed me behind the counter and just told me what goes on my sandwich and let me make it, because you did an awful job.
Yeah.
But your survey won't let me say that. Probably. I may take that survey after we're done.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Because Firehouse Subs is, it's a fireman. People started it and all that, and it's like and their sandwiches are good when they're made properly.
Yeah, I liked their meatball subs. I mean, they were, better than a lot of the other ones that are out there.
I mean, I'm not kidding you, because I had gone out, like I said, rainy week, and so I went out and got, what did I get? I think I just went out and got fast food the night before. Well, I guess subs are fast food too, but I got Burger King.
Yeah.
And I was going to Wendy's, and I'll make this short because we got to call this a podcast here pretty soon. But I went down to Wendy's. The drive-through was just like all the way around the building. I'm like, holy shit.
Wow.
And I wore my slippers. I didn't even put my shoes on. I had
Oh,
sweatpants and slippers on because I was going through a drive-through. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not even going to change my shoes.
right.
And I was in line, and I was like, this Wendy's is like the slowest way. I mean, there could be 3 cars, and you're still looking at 20 minutes. And there's like 8 cars in front of me. I'm like,
What
this
the
is going
hell?
to take an hour. So I backed out. There was nobody behind me, so I backed out and I pulled into a parking spot. And I was like, I'm looking in the window, and I'm like, there's nobody in the store. I'm just gonna
Really?
walk the fuck in and order my food.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
walk up to the first door and it's locked, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I walk around to the other side, and there's a sign, a handwritten sign that says only Uber Eats until 6 p.m. Well, this is like 7 o'clock or whatever. So I
Uh-huh.
pull the door and it's locked. And I'm like, what the fuck? They don't have
Wow.
enough people to actually have the dining room and the drive through open. So I walk back out to the car, I get in the car, and I call Kyle and I said, Wendy's isn't happening.
Yeah, really.
I said, McDonald's, Burger King, Cookout, Taco Bell. So, yeah, I went to Burger King and
Huh.
And then, like I said, the next night, like the next day, I should have gone and gotten groceries, but I was too lazy and I didn't. And I was like, I guess, but I spent like 4 hours looking at subs, like words,
Hmm.
because I wanted a good Italian sub.
Yeah.
And like some of these places, you look at their menu and it doesn't tell you. It's like, well, how big is a sub? Is it a foot long? Is it a 6-inch sub? I don't.
Right.
And then, where we get the pizza, the pizza's good. Reginella's,
Right.
their Italian sub has ham and something else.
Uh-huh.
What do they
Cap-
put on it?
Capricola.
Capicola. Ham and capicola.
Right. Okay.
But I'm like, I'm so used to having subs that have ham, capicola, salami, and pepperoni.
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, and you're only putting 2 meats on there?
Right. Right.
Like, I want to find a place that puts 4 meats on there.
Right.
I, you know, like I was so frustrated. Like I spent half my day looking at goddamn sub shops,
Yeah, I
and
can
then I
imagine.
finally go somewhere, and it turns out to be a fucking pain in the ass, and the subs weren't that great.
One thing, the problem is when you're growing up in New York State, doesn't matter where you're at New York State, you're gonna find a good sub shop,
Yeah.
no matter what. It's just their thing.
Well, and Jersey Mike's isn't bad,
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean,
but they're not bad. But like for both of us to get, like, I'm not going to get a small sub. I'm either going to have lunch for tomorrow or I'm going to eat until I'm full.
right.
2 subs, 2 of the giant subs. You're looking at $40 fucking dollars. That's not
Uh,
no drinks,
oh,
no chips, no nothing for
that's crazy.
subs.
No, no, that's the. When is all this gonna break?
I
I'm
told
telling
Kyle, Jersey Mike's is the Five Guys of subs.
you.
Because you go to Five Guys, and you're dropping $30-$40 on, like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and burgers. Yeah, you better be the best damn sub in town because $40 is just that's not what the whole sub business was about.
No, it was supposed to be cheap and easy, and
And yeah, and all the good stuff in there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like what we saw, what we grew up with is no different. When we were young, our parents saw better than us. We get to be parents or whatever, and then things that don't are not stacking up as well. And now these kids have grown up. They're out there in the working world and stuff, and they're not cutting the mustard. It's like, really? I mean, so how big of a downslope can there be before it's not even a sub anymore?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just Yeah. God, it's frustrating.
Well, the thing of it is I didn't want to go to Harris Teeter or Publix. And their sandwiches are good, and
Yeah.
they're half the price of what any of the
Right.
sub shops are charging.
Exactly.
But I'm just I'm kind of pissed off at Harris Teeter, and it's like I'm trying to like spend as little money at Harris Teeter as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And the problem is with the grocery store subs is they bake the bread X amount of times a day, and then it sits there. And
Mm-hmm.
like when you go there at like 6:30, 7 o'clock or whatever, the bread
Mm-hmm.
is starting to get stale. It's like having a sub that's made on giant saltines.
Yeah,
The
really,
shit just explodes and breaks and stale, and
it's very crunchy at that point because all
yeah,
the moisture's gone out of it.
yeah, and it's like I want
Mm-hmm.
a fresh
Yeah.
sandwich, but
Yeah, I don't care what anybody thinks. The bread is part of it.
oh yeah,
So you got
absolutely
to step, you know, you got to step it up.
have to. Well, DanLee, I guess we better call this one an episode, or we'll be talking about subs until I'm completely starving for another sub.
Well, I'm glad you invited me on tonight. So I'm glad about that.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
It's
You
been a while, and I always enjoy it.
we'll we'll do it. We have to do it like periodically for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
Yep, sounds good to me.
we'll get it set up where we can even Skype so we can see each other or something.
Yeah, that would be good too.
But yeah, so that way I won't
Cool.
have to. I'll just have to put a little picture of you on the video portion. That's what I did last time.
So
You're
that's the
you're
guy.
just up in the corner and it's like DanLee on the phone,
Yeah,
and you're just like a still
looks like
shot.
looks
So
like him, sounds like him. Yeah, it must be him.
yeah, but I know, like I said, all our listeners want to hear your voice every once in a while. So,
Cool.
uh, but anyways, thanks for calling in. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
it's been fun. And we're going to call this one an episode. I am the kid.
And I'm DanLee.
We'll catch you next time.
Yes, indeed.